I used to think sleep was just a necessary inconvenience. Something you tolerated so you could get back to real life. You worked, you stayed busy, you stayed tired, and then you slept just long enough to function again. I didn't hate sleep, but I didn't admire it either. It felt like maintenance, like refueling a machine. You did it because you had to. I never imagined it could be anything more than that. I certainly never imagined it could become the most important thing in my life. Everything changed one afternoon during my lunch break. I was exhausted and skipped eating, deciding instead to close my eyes for just a few minutes. When I woke up, I felt incredible. Clear-headed, calm, refreshed in a way I hadn't felt in years. The noise of the world seemed quieter, less aggressive. My thoughts felt organized, focused. I went back to work feeling better than coffee had ever made me feel. That was the moment something clicked. Sleep wasn't a weakness. It was a resource. After that first nap, something shifted in me permanently. I started looking at the world differently. Every chair became a potential bed. Every wall became something I could lean against and disappear for a few minutes. I began sleeping whenever I could. On buses, gently swaying with every turn. On park benches, sunlight warming my face while the city blurred into background noise. In bathroom stalls at work, feet visible under the door while I drifted somewhere quieter. I studied my limits carefully. 10 minutes was safe. 5 minutes was invisible. I learned how to lower myself into sleep quickly, like flipping a switch. I even practiced sleeping standing up, back pressed against a wall, arms folded so it looked almost intentional. People assumed I was exhausted from overwork. They'd say I needed rest. They didn't understand. I wasn't tired from life. I was tired of being awake. Awake felt loud, messy, overstimulating. Notifications, conversations, movement. Sleep felt precise, clean, structured. When I was asleep, everything simplified. There were no demands, no expectations, no noise. The more I slept, the more the waking world felt like an interruption. And interruptions began to irritate me. Eventually, I stopped fitting sleep into my life and started fitting life into sleep. I mapped the quietest corners of every building I entered. Libraries, stairwells, my car. Fatigue stopped feeling like weakness and started feeling like an invitation. Waking up became the interruption. Consciousness felt loud, cluttered, inefficient. Sleep felt structured, clean, reliable. I wasn't avoiding responsibility. I was prioritizing clarity. Conversations dragged. Errands felt abrasive. But the moment I closed my eyes, everything aligned. The problem wasn't discipline. It was logistics. Beds were fixed. Couches were temporary. Chairs were compromises. I needed mobility. I needed continuity. If I was going to live this way, I needed a system that allowed me to remain horizontal without sacrificing movement. That's when the idea stopped sounding absurd and started sounding inevitable. I bought a used motorized hospital gurney online. It arrived scratched, sterile, and perfect. I replaced the thin mattress with layered foam, added real pillows, thick blankets, and installed a quieter electric motor with smoother acceleration. The first time I lay down and pressed the control, I felt something click into place. I wasn't confined anymore. I was mobile, horizontal, optimized. The ceiling became my sky. Movement became effortless. I could glide from room to room without standing once. Consciousness was now optional. I could participate briefly, then drift off without disruption. The gurney wasn't a bed. It was infrastructure, a platform for a better rhythm of living. People chase productivity tools, standing desks, smart watches, supplements. I had found something simpler. I had removed the unnecessary variable, being upright. Taking the gurney outside felt revolutionary. At the grocery store, I drifted down the aisles at waist level, waking just long enough to reach up and pull items from shelves before lowering myself back into sleep. The fluorescent lights hummed softly above me. At checkout, the cashier had to say, "Sir," 3 times before I opened my eyes. I apologized politely, paid, and immediately drifted off as the receipt printed. At the bank, I rolled up to the counter and waited. The teller didn't notice me at first. I cleared my throat from 3 feet below her line of sight. She leaned over and stared down in stunned silence while I explained my transaction calmly, still lying flat. When it was finished, I pressed the button and rolled away. Eyes closed again before reaching the door. Eventually, I brought the gurney to work. I rearranged my cubicles so I could roll underneath my desk and position myself directly below my computer screen. From that angle, I could look upward and see everything I needed without sitting up. It felt efficient, innovative even. I was a salesman. I made calls lying on my back. I actually preferred when people didn't answer. It gave me uninterrupted rest between attempts. When someone did answer, I had to pull myself halfway into alertness, which felt invasive. My coworkers complained about the snoring. I didn't understand why. Noise-canceling headphones existed. I stopped sitting entirely. Chairs felt primitive. I modified my car so the gurney fit in the back. I installed mirrors and adjusted the steering column so I could drive while lying down. It required minor adaptations, but nothing unreasonable. Standing had become unnecessary. Vertical life had become outdated. I wasn't deteriorating, I was evolving. My boss eventually called me into his office. He stood behind his desk. I remained horizontal. He told me my productivity was unacceptable, that clients had complained, that my presence was disruptive. I explained calmly that I was still working. I was simply optimizing rest cycles between tasks. If anything, I was ahead of my time. HR didn't see it that way. They used words like unprofessional and concerning. They suggested medical evaluations, adjustments, compromise. But this wasn't a phase. This was who I was. So I escalated. I found others online who felt the same way. People exhausted by constant wakefulness. We formed a group called Sleepers Are People, SAP. We protested by sleeping in front of buildings. We held meetings lying in gurneys arranged in circles, microphones hovering over us while we snored in unison. News crews filmed us. Commentators debated us. Eventually, the ridicule softened. The policies shifted, and slowly, laws were passed. Mandatory napping, nationwide. Now, everywhere I go, people are asleep. Offices are silent except for soft mechanical humming. Highways move slowly, filled with synchronized rows of motorized gurneys drifting forward without urgency. Grocery stores are calm. Banks are quiet. Arguments have disappeared. No one rushes anymore. No one interrupts anyone else. Sometimes I wake up and look around at the stillness we created. I try to remember what the world felt like before. The noise, the friction, the constant movement. There was energy back then. There was chaos. There was ambition. I wonder briefly what we gave up to get here. The thought lingers longer each time, but not long enough. My eyelids grow heavy again. The gurney hums softly beneath me, steady and reassuring. Above me, the sky feels endless and uncomplicated. I close my eyes, and the world drifts off with me. Peaceful, quiet, finally still.
I used to stand like everybody else. Vertical stress was bad for my health. Coffee cups and deadlines screaming while I was busy underachieving. Then one day on my lunch break, closed my eyes for sanity's sake. Woke up feeling crystal clear, like I'd upgraded my atmosphere. 10 minutes safe, 5 minutes gone. Flip the switch and I'm offline. I'm living horizontal now. No more rushing anyhow. Gravity's my closest friend. I lie down and transcend. Roll me forward nice and slow. There's no place I need to go. I compete when I can drift. Consciousness is just a shift. Horizontal living, it's forgiving. Let the world adjust to me. Bus stop, pillow, bathroom stall, park bench kingdom, I try them all. People say I need ambition, I say rest is my religion. Installed some wheels and hit the street, dreaming softly while in motion neat. Bank teller staring down in shock. Sorry ma'am, I'm off the clock. 10 minutes safe, 5 unseen. Sleep is sharper than caffeine. I'm living horizontal now, rewriting every sacred vow. Why stay upright, tense and sore? I've optimized the human core. Roll me forward nice and slow. Progress doesn't mean you know. Maybe hustle was a scam. Maybe I just cracked the plan. Horizontal living, Thanksgiving to the hum beneath my feet. Close your eyes, it won't take long. Mandatory calm is strong. Line them up, row by row. Peaceful cities moving slow. No more shouting, no more fights. Just synchronize good nights. We're living horizontal now. Everyone's enlightened somehow. No more chaos, no more climb. We have conquered waking time. Roll the highway soft and wide. Gurney's gently side by side. Stillness finally set us free. Horizontal living, forgiving, quiet as eternity.